So, you finally made it. Took you long enough. I hope you're ready, because this is it. The beginning of the end. This is the Charred Conclave, a graveyard for druids, burned alive as scapegoats for the Red Death. It's a reminder of what happens when people fear what they don't understand. They spoke out. They should have stayed silent, kept to their herbs and potions, but they didn't. They believed their ancient knowledge, ugly and painful truths from times long past, could save Avalon from the plague. And maybe they were right. But people don't want the truth when it's covered in blood. Cruel rituals, sacrifices, hard choices in search of real results. They called it wisdom, knowledge gleaned from the weirdness itself. But to the people, everything they did was unnatural, costly, and frightening. The druids believed their results would justify the costs. They thought Avalon would see them as saviors. But the people didn't understand, and fear turned to fire. Well, the Red Church and their politicians made sure of that. The druids became a convenient enemy, a way to shift the blame and tighten their grip on power. It's always so simple, so banal, isn't it? Well, death doesn't always mean an ending. It was a sacrifice so costly, so cruel, so pointless, that it tore a rift in the fabric of this world, an ultimate wound. And so you're the closest you'll ever come to seeing the true shape of this world. To greet you, I was once where you are now, a knight with questions, searching for answers. That search led me to this place. And here I found my answers. Now it's your turn. Well, first you're going to meet my former employer. We don't see eye to eye anymore, but we both realize that our collaboration yields results, as shown by you being here. He'll try to sugarcoat the hard truths I've been telling you from the beginning, spin them differently. Never mind. Why waste time here talking about it when you're just a step from the end? It's best if you just go forth and see for yourself. Just remember, this is the point of no return. Once you've stepped through, there's no going back. But if you've come this far, I suppose you already knew that. Go on. He's waiting for you.
At last we meet. I've heard much about you. Your choices, your determination. Caradoc isn't easily impressed, but he was impressed with you. Few dare to seek the truth buried in Avalon shadows. Fewer still make it this far. I was the first. Caradoc followed when my brethren burned and the tear opened. And now, here you are. A truly rare and joyful occasion. What lingers here, it's older than Avalon. Older than anything we know. What you see is the beginning of weirdness itself. Its purest form, raw potential, unshaped by anything but its lack of boundaries and limits. Beautiful, isn't it? Oh, forgive my lack of manners. I am Orin, the last apprentice of Merlin, and the last Archdruid of Avalon. I've carried the weight of this land's secrets longer than I care to admit. But names mean little. What matters is the task before us. Oh, precisely the opposite of what Caradoc wants. I want you to help me resurrect King Arthur. Properly this time. Ridiculous, I know. But yes, that's what it boils down to. At some point, we stopped seeing eye to eye and chose different paths. Ultimately, though, both our paths led to you. Yes, please let me explain. By the end of his life, Arthur became obsessed with his legacy. He left mementos, artifacts that embodied the virtues he wanted Avalon to preserve. Excalibur, a symbol of loyalty and sacrifice. The crown of Pendragon, a beacon of courage and resilience. The shield of Palamedes, wisdom and independence. But Merlin and the others didn't believe that would be enough. The memory of war and the fragility of peace was still too fresh. So they acted. When the king died, his soul wasn't allowed to move on. It was shattered, bound to those artifacts. A clever solution, but ultimately flawed. You can't pick and choose with a soul, but that's exactly what Merlin did. He focused on 3 parts of Arthur: his strength, wisdom, and courage. He left out 2 pieces. One, tainted by the Four Dwellers' magic, was deemed too dangerous. The other was his humanity, the most fragile part. Merlin thought compassion and doubt were weaknesses, unfit for a king. Without them, Arthur became hollow. A king with power, but no heart. That way, Avalon's greatest failure was born. They feared losing what Arthur represented more than losing Arthur himself. They thought the king's essence would endure, if bound to his relics. I tried, and I found his humanity. It's here, bound, kept safe. But the Four Dwellers' aspects was left to drift, untethered between worlds. Finding it needed more than magic. It needed someone like you. The horrors you endured on that island gave you something no one else has. You can move through the weirdness, touch it, and return whole. That's why you found the king's soul, bound it to yourself, and came back. No, the Asylum treated you as a subject. I see you as a savior. Your suffering gave us a chance. And for that, I am both... I can see you're still doubting me. I want to bring back our king, whole and complete. I want him to lead again and safeguard Avalon's future. It won't. This time, Arthur will be whole. A king must be more than power. He must be human. That balance is what will save Avalon. Because I've seen what happens without him. Weirdness preys on the weak, and the people are too divided to stand against it alone. Arthur is their only hope. Ever they're left without him, without guidance, chaos takes hold. Division festers. You've seen it during your journeys. If things continue this way, Avalon will tear itself apart long before weirdness finishes the job. Then Avalon falls, and with it everything we fought to protect. But I don't believe I'm wrong. Help me bring the king back, whole and complete. That's all I ask of you. Now you need to go further. I made my case. Please keep in mind what I told you. This is the only way for Avalon to survive.
I was there when it all began, when Arthur first set foot on Avalon. I was a knight in his army. We believed in him, in his dream, in his kingdom. And for a while, it was glorious. Every battle felt like a step closer to peace. Every sacrifice justified by the dream we shared. But then came the cost. The war crimes, the impossible decisions, the massacres, slaughters, and irrational cruelty. We turned from knights into butchers, all because his dream demanded it of us. At first I told myself it was necessary, that it was the price of building something great. But the longer it went on, the harder it was to believe. That's when I realized Arthur wasn't a god, a savior, or a king. He was just another man, no different from the rest of us. And no man should have the power to demand such sacrifices. But do you understand why I want it so much? I'd like to believe that after 600 years I've moved past pettiness. You need to understand that people thought, and still think, that he was more than human. But he wasn't. He made mistakes, just like any man. And the cost of those mistakes was always paid for by others. I've seen what happens when people cling to kings and myths. They wait, they follow. They waste their lives on promises that never meant anything. But that's not my problem. I'm not here to fix Avalon or to free anyone. What comes after doesn't matter. Let it all burn. Let it rot. Let it rebuild. I won't be here to see it. Then let it. If this world can't stand without a dead king propping it up, maybe it deserves to fall. Call it chaos, call it freedom, I don't care. Let them rise, let them fall. Let them tear each other apart. I just want to watch it all come down, to see the last lie collapse under its own weight. What comes after? That's for the ones still standing to figure out. Let them stand, let them fall. It's not my concern. If the weirdness takes them, so be it. At least it won't be another king's failure. Another lie propping up a dying world. It'll just be what it is. Arthur's the only myth that still holds weight. And when he's gone, the rest will rot with him. A puppet king, another empty throne, none of it will last. Maybe they'll keep pretending for a while. Maybe they won't. I've lived longer than any man should. Seen more than anyone should ever bear. And I've waited centuries for this moment, this chance, to end it all. To end him. Arthur isn't Avalon's hope. He's its curse. He's the chain that keeps it bound to the past, dragging it down no matter how far it tries to climb. We were fools to tamper with forces we didn't understand. Resurrecting Arthur, infusing him with powers of the weirdness. We didn't just bend the natural laws, we shattered them. Such violations of nature's order cannot go unanswered. The bill comes due, sooner or later. Always. This cannot be allowed to continue. Listen, it's taken longer than I ever imagined, but now, here we are. You've done what no one else could, what even I couldn't do. You've brought Arthur's soul back together, almost complete, but not quite. And because of you, I can finally finish what I started centuries ago. So, thank you for bringing us to this moment. You're close now. Just one more step. The last fragment of Arthur's soul is waiting for you. Complete what you came here for. And then, we'll meet again. As allies, or as enemies. That's up to you. Go. Find the last piece, and let's end this. Whatever comes next, I'll be ready. I hope you will be too. Go.
You've come. The one who carries what's left of me. Please, don't come any closer. Don't force me to think about coming back again. Just let me finally die. Because I've had enough. Enough of being torn apart and stitched back together. Enough of being used, shaped, and forced to be something I'm not. Do you know what it is like to be a king of nothing? To see the people you swore to protect suffer because of your choices? Or worse, in your name. I've seen towns burnt to the ground, families destroyed, all because someone thought it would serve the greater good. And they called it loyalty. They called it justice. I've been dragged through every dream, every lie they've built around me. And I'm tired. Tired of the weight, of the expectations, of all of it. And most of all, I'm tired of... I want release. I want to stop being a tool in their endless struggle. Kill me. Destroy the last piece of me and use the energy however you wish. Take it yourself and become the new king. Give it to someone else. Just don't let me come back again. He thinks ending me will free Avalon. But what then? Without an idea, a light to guide them, they'll stumble, lose their way, and people always seek something to follow, something to believe in. Take that away. Orin wants a king, not me. He doesn't see the broken man behind the myth. He sees a symbol, a weapon to wield against the weirdness. But symbols aren't people. They're empty. And the more they're used, the more they hollow out the one who carries them. Do you know what it's like to be a weapon? To be forged, sharpened? Let me die. Not as Arthur, not as the king, just as a simple, normal human being. Another way? There's always another way, isn't there? Another cycle, another resurrection, another lie to keep the world spinning. But please, not for me. Not anymore. I've had enough. I don't want another chance. I don't care. Do you know how freeing that is, to finally not care what happens next? Whether Orin gets his kick, to not feel the burden of all my failures, to not see my memory tarnished, to not see the suffering my name causes. No more deaths. Isn't that what you've been doing all along? Carrying what's left of him? You've already taken up the humanity. Doesn't that prove Arthur doesn't need? Do what you think is right. That's all I can tell you. Because whatever you decide, and that's the only thing. You hold the choice. I don't care who you side with. Orin, Caradoc, or no one at all. I don't even want to. Just let me go. Let me die.
now you need to go further. I made my case. Please keep in mind this is the only way.
Go on. He's waiting for you.
Let me go.
You carried a dying king across the bones of a dying world. Now you stand before what started it all. An idea. I am the reason there must be an ending. I do not guide. I do not judge. I exist so that something can be chosen. I do not offer meaning. I require that one be made. You have brought all things to their conclusion. Now, decide what must remain. Choose, and let the shape of the world follow. You will shape the world to become its witness. You will be seen. You will be followed. You will be blamed. You will break the frame, and what follows will not remember you. You will vanish into the story you chose to restore. Then the idea shall fall, its weight discarded, its rule denied. But the soul is not yet yours to give. First, it must be purified of what still speaks through it.
Thank you. But promise me, you will win this fight, my friend.
After everything you've seen, you signed with Caradoc. Then all the suffering, all the pain, meant nothing. Complete. Avalon will be reborn. Perfect this time.
You brought down the cycle with steady hands and no promise of glory. You did not claim the throne. You buried it. There is no king now. Only the truth you made and the path others may follow. You had no answers, only scars and the will to keep walking. And sometimes that was enough to keep others going too. With One Eye and Captain Brandon working side by side, the South found a peace it hadn't known in years. The roads stayed open, the fields were guarded, and the people finally felt safe. No longer bound to Camelot or the Knights of the Round Table, it became a land ruled by its own people on its own terms. The men here stayed in Kuanacht, but Yvain failed to rally the minds and hearts needed for his Grail quest. With no clear leaders and rising tension, both Kuanacht and Camelot grew fragile, drifting toward division, with no one left to hold the line. You awakened the giants, only to command their end, leaving no power behind for either side to claim. Without their strength, the balance held, but the divide between Camelot and the Dal Rita remained, wide, bitter, and far from settled. Fergus was named the new Galahad the Loyal. With One Eye and Brandon unable to rally the Dal Rita of the Forlorn Swords, the South remained divided. Fergus prepared Camelot's forces to reclaim the region by strength, determined to restore unity through conquest if necessary. The captain led the South to independence, breaking all ties with Camelot. Under his rule, the Horns of the South flourished. Merchants, pilgrims, and adventurers returned to the roads, and prosperity once again reached the far corners of the land. One Eye ruled the South with the Horns of the South at his side. The Dal Rita, the Forlorn Swords, remained divided, leaving the South strong but isolated. Without wider unity, his rule endured for a time. The future beyond his leadership remained uncertain. Nianta left Kuanacht with Yvain, and her fate remained unknown. Yet among the people she once served, tales of her devotion and courage endured, and her name was remembered with respect. Maggot chose to remain in Kuanacht, and the people stayed with him. Over time, they grew to trust him and often sought his wisdom. In time, he took on an apprentice, planting the first seeds of a new druidic tradition. Eothra left Kuanacht alongside Yvain, despite concerns about his age. His fate remained unknown, but the people admired him for finding purpose at the end of his life, and spoke of him with lasting respect. Ingrid turned away from the eternal sleep, choosing life over dreams. In time, she began to rebuild the Thoid among the living, planting the first seeds of a new future for her scattered people. Under Dav Hamra's leadership, the Ulf grew stronger but more isolated. The tribe and the Stone Wardens became one, bound by a new symbol of strength, a steady hand against the chaos beyond their borders. Following Galerna's path, the Sven clung to the old ways, their faith sustained by the Stagfather's living presence within the unrealm of the hunt. They turned inward, shunning outsiders, and deepened their devotion to the blood-stained rites of their ancestors. After returning to Camelot, Killian lived quietly for a time. When he vanished, few asked questions. Unsettling rumors had always followed him, and most preferred not to remember.